ta, yn gryfach gyda'n gilydd. Dyna'n union ddudodd Gwenan, a dwi'n gwybod am ddau arall sy'n credu yn gry yn hynna heddiw yma, ac yn ei bywyd bob dydd. A fasa heddiw, Coed, Coexist, ddim yn bod heb y ddau yma. Rhowch groeso cynnes, os gwelwch yn dda, i'r llwyfan gogoneddus yma, i Junko, Mori a Egan. Would you like to sit down?
You can stand or sit.
Stand? Sit?
Yeah.
Sit. Whatever makes you feel most comfortable.
Okay.
Actually, you're doing a talk first, aren't you? So
Yeah, you.
I'll just sit here in silence like I'm used to.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, nervous. Okay. Which one is it called? That one.
Yeah.
That red one. Diolch yn fawr. Bore da pawb. That's all I can say in Welsh. I took 2 years course and then I still really bad about it. And I hope I can catch up quite soon. My children is really fluent in Welsh. And even though it's thank you for, especially my village, our village, to the radio. It has been incredible. They are so croeso, all welcome to us all the way through and supporting us all the time. And Ascot to Radio has been incredible school, sports, art, crafts. They're so on it, and we are very, very lucky to be here. Thank you. So this is the me talk. It's my work. This is my husband John. He will talk in a minute. Sorry. Anyway, so my name is Junko Mori, and I'm originally from Yokohama. Red one?
No, the adult.
That's the end. So I'm originally from Japan, Yokohama. It's the south side of Tokyo, and I'm very, very fortunate. I grew up in kind of sort of in between nature, countryside, and quite close to the city as well. So we had both access, but my favorite hobby when I was little was going to nature, forest and rice field and pond, especially green, dirty, like the dirtiest, greenest, the best. And you find this crazy creatures through a microscope, because my brother had it, and then I was about 10. My hobby was collecting these water from local, and then sketching these organism, and then so when I was in primary school, I was kind of half listening what teacher was saying, but filling these patterns on any gap on the textbook, and just my head was kind of these patterns was kind of taking over. So I often start this drawing without thinking final outcome, and so I just start and then propagate the patterns. So this is watercolor drawing. I went to Musashino Art University in Tokyo first. I took 3D design, and you have to go through 5 different materials. So metal, wood, plastic, that is closed now for many reasons, and wood, and clay, ceramic, and then textile lecture. I discovered this use of watercolor ink. It's a translucent ink, really vivid color, and I fell in love. And then, so that's kind of sort of became my hobby as well. So, but you can tell the link to my childhood. Again, when I start drawing, I don't have any final design. I just start, let them grow, like a growing vegetable. So when I was end of second year, I took metal as a major because it sounds very cocky, but textile and wood, clay, plastic, I felt I could manipulate material quite fairly easily, but metal was hardest. Like a boyfriend, John was the hardest person to track him down. I was like waving, "Hi, I love you," but then he never found one. So
I did eventually.
you did. And then but anyway, I got this obsession, harder to get, I chase. I always want this. So metal was definitely one of them. And then I was struggling, like for example, hammer raising project I did from sheet metal to make it into board. I'm the only one person out of 10,000 students in the past, I make it shrink for some reason. If you hit the metal, you normally stretch, but somehow my sheet metal was shrinking. It was very strange. But anyway, so metal, I got very strange relationship with metal. And then, so when this is when I was third year student, first project, my professor said, do whatever you want. And then, so I kind of sort of linked to my drawing, like if I just chop lots of box section and then welded without any preconceived idea. So that's the outcome. It's about 2 meter length, and I loved it. It's like a root vegetable. The outcome was something it didn't exist in my head. So I felt like I created something from nothing. So everything was started from there, and then this is my big graduation piece when I was 21, and then it's actually skull inside. My concept was like a sea urchin, the spike is coming out, but it's kind of, you lose kind of, like a human. You look great, but inside is like a little bit rotten. Well, I know you ran. So sorry about this, but I was a quite heavy metal kind of girl, and then really my head was quite complicated at that time. And so very conceptual. But that time, my professor said what I do is all hand forged metal. So my fine arts professor said what I do is craft, and the craft professor said what I do is fine art. So okay, so no one likes me to be in their box. Okay, where am I going to go? And then I tried to get into fine art MA. I miserably failed, and no one wanted me. So I became welding assistant in the factory for a year. And then any technical skill I gained is actually from that whole year. I worked 8 to 5 in Tokyo with the amazing 70 years old boss and son, 40 years old. They were amazing. And it's precise welding skill, and I just loved it. It's not really nothing arty whatsoever, but I learned and earned substantial money. And then I came to Britain. And then in London, I enrolled to Camberwell, so Camberwell College of Art in London. And then because when I came to London 1997 first, it was just a holiday for me to research. And then I went to Royal Academy, and Sensation exhibition was on, everything conceptual, like a sheep in the tank and shark in the tank, that kind of level. And then I lost again, there's no box to myself to fit in. And then, but I went to New Designers Show, and then annual events, it happened in this country, and then there was a kind of sort of a showroom of all art college do, Edinburgh and Scottish and Welsh University too. Then I found myself the box. There was a Camberwell College of Art, and like sort of they was in the late 90s, they were calling sort of non-functional crafts like applied arts. And somehow crafts was a dirty word at that time, almost like a granny that people associate with the granny knits kind of thing. Well, why not, actually, really? But sort of regarded as not high standard sort of activity in our field, and I felt that a lot when I was a student. But I was believing craft, hands-on making is my background, and so I wanted to pursue. And then this course, Camberwell, was offering that basically, and it's all experimental material practice and hands-on activity, and the students' work was amazing. Then I started it, but loads of tutors said, stop making things, and then I know you got welding background and also skill already, so stop banging metal. Just go to library and research. You need a reason what you do. Okay, reason. So I started research. And then I had this research about, every time I do the repetitive process, I felt really good. I feel meditative. So I chosen topic, dissertation topic was brain, how neurologically works when we do repetitive tasks. And then I discovered, so I went to King's College Library the most, it was the neurology section. And then I discovered there were two brains, and then one brain, back brain, in a small brain, is actually, people call it ancient brain, like in charge with motion, sort of memory. So once you start learning piano, or trying to ride a bicycle, you kind of struggle physically, trying to frontal brain working so hard to work out how your brain and body connect, like how to work. And then, but once you repeat the action, practice, it's called, isn't it? And then once you learn that movement, that's stored to the small brain. So you remember, like a lyric of old, song, you remember it. Then I encountered this report about this William de Kooning, the New York painter. Later on in his career, he lost memory, got Alzheimer. The dementia and Alzheimer disease is called disease on the frontal brain, big brain, but small brain is totally working. But so he was waking up and then brought paint and then doing painting like a routine because it's stored in the small brain. But frontal brain, the thinking parts of it, is gone. So his brain became like back to when he was painting as if when he was a teenager. So that was fascinating to me. So like it's really interesting, like artistic. So my kind of repetitive sort of, let's move on to this, which is basically muscle, brain's muscle. So if you train repeating the same action information, so if your synapse, like a nerve system, is basically trained to, even emotion, action, motion, everything is actually muscle memory. So if you receiving happy so events all the time, you became a happy person. And it sounds ridiculous, but I realized that's how our brain works. So of course, when I do the metalworking repetition, I actually ended up using small brain more than frontal brain. So my frontal brain is actually empty. Then, because then another thing is when I was doing the Campbell College of Art, this is the degree work, but I was still didn't work out. I was in a mess, like what I'm doing, I'm not researching enough, so what is going through, and then what I got panic attack. It's quite well known for the beginning of depression, I suppose, but I was quite fully aware of what's going on, hyperventilation, I couldn't breathe properly. It's quite tough that time. But I realized, that's kind of realized my physical reaction is like, oh, I'm using too much on the frontal brain. How am I going to empty this? Then I realized, it's this, I don't know how I can
just press it again.
Is it? I'm sorry. That's a hand forging process. I spent hours and hours like this in a studio. And then when I'm forging, I feel really calm because I'm not using frontal brain, am I? So the panic attack is basically overusing of your frontal brain. So you need rest. But sleeping is a completely different thing. Apparently only minor repetitive tasks is actually you can release this hormone to clean your frontal brain. So cleaning, mopping floor or chopping carrots, hundreds of them, or weeding in a garden is actually super good. You're basically emptying the rubbish from your frontal brain, which sleeping doesn't do it. It's actually, you need to physically act and doing this process to clean your brain. So this is minor task, checking the lengths or sorting the lengths of components before welding. But I found it's really calming. You just don't think anything else, just the lengths of the lengths, maintaining for the process. So this is the 2000, and my first project started a 3D dimensional attempt of all hand-forged components assembled together without any final outcome. Then I'm like a farmer, I let them grow and starting like just welding one morning and then spend hours on repetitive action. So this is going to be lots of bombarding with the lots of images. So it's all hand-forged minus steel, and then I would say 80% of the making process is forging, and then assembling is fairly quick because it's. So this is still it's called propagation projects. I named it in 2000 because I propagate the shape. Also, that my practice and thought philosophy is also still developing and propagating. So this is my career highlight. It's in the British Museum in Japan section, in the same cabinet of the ancient steelwork. What an honor! Thank you, British Museum. And you can go and see it. And so it's still going. This is last year's, really ginormous. This one is about like 90 centimeters diameter. This is actually from post-thawing, the kelp forest. When I was diving, there was a kelp, the little bush of it, and then I was inspired by. So when I moved to Wales, it's just inspiring so much because this is a Snowdonian, like a lichen overdose. There's one forest near Portsmouth, my favorite lichen paradise there. This is actually named Wales Forest. Actually, I really enjoy the early spring after long winter in the forest floor. There's a lot, species coexist and then gushing out together. Then I introduced with the silver in 2001, and silversmith called Chris Knight said, you better attempt in silver. Then I couldn't afford the material, and Sheffield S office raised hand and sponsored me. And I received this 10 kilogram of pure silver rods one day, and left in a foyer, and no one attending. And then so since I'm doing, I must admit, financially speaking, silver feeds us. It's incredible appetite in our market, but still is catching up at the moment. And then this is the silver crown. It's very big, but really big, and then it's see-through because it's a whole hand punch through. And so I'm developing silver and steel both, and then this is the 10 Downing Street Commission. And since I kind of combine steel and silver together as well, and I kind of learned how to do cast bronze as well recent days. And my mission next is to do in copper. And so I'm a little bit metal nerd, and my practice is still developing. So my website is Junko.com, and Egan, I have to mention Egan because Egan Susun, my dealer, has been incredible ambassador. He's pioneer for modern crafts. He bridged between antique market and modern contemporary. He brought contemporary crafts in a different context. He's an amazing dealer. I'm very, very fortunate. That's Instagram. I normally, Gabby is here, she works for me and makes amazing work in process video. So yeah, you can check out. That's it, Jochen Bauer.
Hello everyone. Yeah, I'm John Egan, and very similar, as actually listening to your talk, it's very similar upbringing, except mine was in Anglesey. I don't know if I can click that. Oh, that's not that one actually, it's a different.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
That's after this, sorry.
There's just my name on it, I think.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That's okay. So this is, just again, it's like an ego boost, it's like telling you about myself. And this is Making Little, it's like it's sort of, it's the company we did, but it's the company I use. That's just about, I think it was actually, no, Barris Dennis, it was, the name came from just, literally, we had our first child and was making something that's little together, so basically, that's where it came from. Really, the main drive of my craft, and like why I was so excited when you see fallen trees, is because I love getting timber, and it all started when I was a little boy. I lived in Llanfairpwll, and there's a woods not far from me, but further enough that it was really difficult to drag wood back. So I was really little, and because I was the youngest, I'd just get out of the house and run away, and I'd just grab bits of trees and try to drag them back home. I didn't know why I was doing this. I think I just loved lifting stuff, and I'd just drag them back, like try and cross a busy road near Britannia Bridge, and then drag them up to my house. And then I'd get like my dad's blunt chisels and just try and hack at them and make them into shapes. Again, I just don't know why, but then I just falling in love with art and drawing and that sort of creativity because of it, really. And then as I got older, the necessity of local wood became the priority, because like, oh, actually, I love the fact that I can get material from where I live. It seemed like the most logical thing. So when you see, well, the wood world, when you see sort of wood brought in from all different places, it was like, oh, I wonder why it's not from here, and living on the clear, there's not that many trees really, especially where we live. But then Kevin Hamilton Estate, David, he's got some amazing trees there, and he very kindly let me get some of them and plank them up, and thus my journey became even more exciting, finding local timber. And as I've written there, it's about sort of the antiques of the future, not in a vain way, but about that sort of carbon capture of CO2. So when you actually buy some wooden furniture, this is kind of a main drive, you're actually locking in CO2. If you look after it, if it's a very beautifully made piece of work, then you look after it and it becomes this reverse coal mining. And interesting fact that I heard recently was that coal will never have that again because fungus. So in the old days, before fungus, trees existed and they fell down, and then they became coal. But then fungus and different bacteria came along, and now if the tree falls down, it rots away. So we'll never have coal again. So in my head I was like, let's reverse coal mine, let's make as much wooden stuff as we can and look after it. And so that's where sort of the joy of making wood pieces come from, that kind of same thing you went through, is that kind of, why am I doing this? Like, why am I dragging this 7-ton tree away from here and moving it in segments all around like the house, and cluttering a house with bits of wood everywhere, So these are some of the bits of furniture I make. This was a beech tree from Kevin Ham. Look at that. Similar to here actually, about 150-year-old beech tree that came down. The joy of dragging that around really, but carving all the details, where I live being influenced by all the mammals. For some reason I just love all the sheep and animals and the elegance of the mammals that we're surrounded by, so I wanted to sort of bring that into the work as well. And I'm quite big on eco stuff, I suppose, if you might not guess, but so all the coloration is done by burning as well, so everything's highly sanded, wetted and sanded and wetted and sanded, and then when you burn it you can get this lovely carbonised black feel about it. So everything about it we're trying to be as ecological and local as possible. These are examples where I try and use the whole tree as well, so often you get a chipper and you'll just chip all the tree except the main beautiful planks that everyone wants, but I was trying to come up with a design how I can use all the whole tree. So these are bits of the canopy on the beech tree, and trying to make them into products. And again, it's all burnt, so kind of ebonising effect. It's a very exciting effect to do when you're actually doing it. And these are like chopping boards, so there's some of the branches. And having a blacksmith as a wife, there's always bits of metal lying around, so I started heating them up and burning, using to burn shapes and things like that. Yeah, again, more stuff. We've got like hooks to the real top of the canopy. I've cut a dovetail in the back so you get this invisible joint on the wall, just trying to use it all up. And details of carvings. I've kind of got this weird obsession with Greek sculpture and hair and things like that, so I want to try and get that more in my work, and I love the history of sculpture as well through that. Back to that eco stuff, I built a few buildings, our house, Junko's workshop, my workshop, and some cabins and other stuff as well. And I'm trying to use as much local timber as possible, so the larch, not too dissimilar from here, but probably from mid-Wales, to be honest, about the furthest I go, it's all made from larch and eco materials and breathable membrane, so the whole house breathes, and plaster, lime plaster and stuff like that inside. This was an old cow shed. I think that's the remaining bit of the building, so we built that on. It looks incredibly small in this photo, but it's a proper sized house. It's not a miniature one. And this is Junko's workshop that we're pretty much finished now. So this is an old pig shed that we built this structure on top, which was again similar materials again. So and it's amazing compressed wood for insulation. So you have to go thicker than all the plastic stuff, but it's incredible stuff. And then air quality, because we've got old part of the house and the new part of the house connected, and the air quality is amazing in the new part. It's just it's not damp, it's just really, really lovely, and rather than living in the 300-year-old cow shed that had no foundations. So yeah, and this is again Junko's workshop, some crazy yellow doors, and ping pong, which is very important. Yeah, so I think the next slide. Oh yeah, and then this all led to obviously the interest in wood. And I was really, really lucky enough to go to Japan to a wood culture society, it's called, but it's basically this very, very talented master called Taksan. He runs these workshops there for mainly foreign visitors, but he's got lots of local people there as well, because in Japan I researched about wood being taught wood in Japan, and I was too old already. Basically, you had to start when you were sort of 18 years old, because it's a 20-year process of apprenticeship, and then from there you might be allowed to do something else. And you know, it's like that's it, you know. But this place was quite westernised, so you could come and do a week, you know, and learn literally just how to sharpen a tool. Which I was there for a month, and I still just on the cusp of understanding how to sharpen. It's these are all the guys, actually. The two guys at the back, Taksan and Masters over there. This chap here, he was incredibly amazing at sharpening. He'd make his own planes. It's just incredible skills that. And then this poor lad here, he was 20 years old, Togo-san. The master said to him, "Here's a plank of elm. Plane it by hand." And so basically, I think he spent 3 months on it every evening, about 3 or 4 hours every evening, just hand planing this piece of elm, totally flat. And I don't know if anyone of the woodworkers here, but if you ever try and plane a piece of elm by hand, it's absolutely nuts. The grains everywhere. You have to stop and you have to sharpen that tool to the amazing degree. And he did an incredible job. And I was there at the end when he finished, which was very lucky. All incredible place. So if you ever managed to go over to Japan, it's really worth going there. They've got like a chair museum, and they've got hundreds of different chairs from all around the world. And if you like chairs, if you don't, that's probably quite boring. And this was my daunting, when I first got there, it was like, "That's yours, Johnson." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, okay, what do I do?" It's like, "Well, I don't know, what are you doing?" "Well, I don't know, what am I doing?" So I had the first couple of days of, what the hell am I doing? And then quickly, after a night of just going like, "What the hell am I doing?" And then I woke up the next morning and realised, oh yeah, it's easy. I've got no children, no French children. I've got no wife. It's just here by myself, and I'm just making. and I haven't had that for so long, and it was an incredible feeling just to have a month of making. But really what it turned out to be was a month of sharpening. And because I didn't bring any tools, he had a box of old tools and they were all broken. I've got some tools here, you can have a look. And I just made my own hand planes and things like that. So I think it's, oh yeah. This was me fixing this little hand plane, it's called a kama. And I was very satisfied trying to get this wood to fit in perfectly, and I thinking, oh yeah, I got it in and I'm amazing. And then the master showed me this box that he made, and this, well, you can't hear the sound, can you? But the click is like exquisite, and he's the master of making these boxes, yeah. So he didn't show me to show off, he just showed me because I was interested, but I was very much put in my place of like the skill that these people have. So I'm really hoping actually not to jump the boat a bit, but with this leading to an exhibition, we talk about this being phase 1 and phase 2, but hopefully phase 3 is actually sort of bonding, or we all probably have links to different countries, hopefully bonding those links to different people, and ours is Japan, and trying to get that link of craft and skill as well over here, and having conversations with other countries would be amazing. Well, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, I've rushed through this, sorry about that. Well, not sorry for you, but yeah. So we're actually going to talk about this now, Coexist. So we've got a selection of slides. They look a little bit like, I've been on holiday and we're showing you some slides of our holiday. but it will make sense in the end. We're talking about why we're here and how we've grown to love craft and here, isn't it? So yes. So
we met each other in Manchester through Crafts Council scheme called Next Move. It was 2000. He doesn't remember this, but so in the interviewing room, he turned up totally shaved head, totally pale, stink of whiskey. But he was so chatty. Yeah, sorry about that. But he was chatting with everybody, all the nervous students waiting for the interview room. And then this is basically funding from Crafts Council and Northwest Arts that time, and then basically cherry-picked these students to send it to Northwest, to university. So there was 5 locations: Preston, Liverpool, Manchester, Leeds, Cumbria. Then my placement, I've been chosen luckily, and I've been sent to Liverpool Hope University, and you were
Preston.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
And then, so we went to a separate way, but, so I remember him at the interview room, but he doesn't remember. And then we got together in Manchester, like later on for the business training. You get like this, training. And then since we became really good friends, then we come to North Wales, Hellsmouth, especially,
decades of surfing, yeah.
So every weekend we come left.
But all during the
Friday
winter,
evening.
we'd just be sleeping in your Nissan Micra.
Yeah.
You know,
Sorry, it's so sorry, dodgy in the car park.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be done. Because it can't be properly.
Keep us clean.
Yeah, we are young.
And
then, so we got connection in Wales since over 20 years.
The drive home got harder and harder, so every time we drove back to Manchester, it felt like we were going the wrong way, you know. Especially I was from Wales, it's like falling in love with Wales again. From being that grumpy teenager leaving and coming back, it's been like an amazing experience. And then another end is I had allotment in Manchester. I love growing vegetable since when I was young. And then, so in Japan was my grandparent generation, so like before war, straight after war, Japanese women have to grow vegetable on the side, and probably Britain the same, but that lost, that knowledge is lost now. And then my parent generation didn't like doing that, but luckily grew up with my grandmother. So I grew up with fresh vegetable, it just tastes of tomato, gorgeous. It's totally different thing. And then, so I wanted that. So Manchester, I had that allotment. So we found this house in Tiberio. It was so bad, really bad. And no roof and stuff. Yeah.
So we moved, and then Dennis was 1 month old.
Yeah.
Yes. So we didn't know anybody here. And then so we kind of first 2 years was a bit tough, but we concentrate on raising baby and keep going my practice.
But yeah, when Dennis went to school, the community is like opened up to you, isn't it? So,
yeah.
and once you open up to the community, everyone's so incredible here. It's like a very welcoming lot here, talk about, yeah. And this was Junko's pig shed that we were renovating at the time. So I wasn't a builder, but I kind of fooled myself that I was, and then we quickly built something because Junko's the earner at that time and still is, and then we had to like get it up and running quickly, isn't it? So.
And then, so we were really poor, limited money, so we recycled everything. If I look back, it's very bad. Corrugated roof, never recycled. There's just too much hole. And
so leaky. You don't recycle it.
Don't recycle it. And then we ended up kind of I've been working the workshop until really recently, leaky roof and everything. But it made it over 13 years, my practice.
The roof got blown off once, didn't it? The whole thing.
Completely gone.
Yeah, it's pretty windy here, isn't it?
Yes.
And then I helped out at Velin, I think, I can't remember when it was, but just briefly helped out with some work.
Place, very tough.
Is a centre here, incredible green wood oak buildings and stuff like that. But I helped out there just building a timber frame, I think it was a boathouse, which gave me some confidence then to sort of make our own, this is my workshop at home, is what the first thing I kind of made properly, really. Yeah, and then that's what led to my other talk, just led to all the other buildings being made, so having that confidence and growing with the local materials to actually build these workshops. So the reason we're talking about this is connecting to this Coed Coexist, so it started that love of getting the materials from the location itself. So again, this is the wood that was the table, so this was the beech tree. And then going to a chap called Bo, which I don't think he's here, but he's a really talented New Zealand chap who's lived here for many years, and he's brilliant at planking the wood in Podian. Yeah. Again, it's just locally sourced, getting the timber locally, it's been an amazing process.
And then we go like a walk, that's up Kingsway, and that's Cronbello, I think. But every time we go for walking, it's a place, geological offering almost, really inspire our practice. And then we often talk like, this place is all like a geographically land being scraped this way because it's fantasizing. Because it's windy, tree became this shape, or rock became this shape. There's always a story behind it.
So yeah, it's like we realise the geography. The geography is so romantic, and it makes the cultures. It makes it just makes everything. It's like the foundation. So all the water mills and making the wall. Wales has so much amazing geography, and it's making this amazing culture, which I find similarities to Japan, isn't it?
So like Japan is mountains. There's 70% of the land. Luckily, it's not livable. So like nature is preserved, just because you can't go chop wood. It's just too steep.
So 70% covered in trees, isn't it?
Yes, covered. So we live on the edge. So very lucky in a way. And then, but each village has story. There's a certain reason why that village became what that is, like a fishing village, do amazing fish.
Bowl making villages.
Like ceramic because of the clay they get. And so when we travel in Wales, it's full of story like that, slate and the wool mill. It's all everything to do with geology. And then this is a kind of funny example that a Japanese noodle called Nagasaki champon. So when we went to Nagasaki, and then, so Nagasaki is the only port open during Edo period, so government closed for over 250 years. And then only port open, so that's quite close to Korea and China, but so the trade was still on. So Nagasaki, where my parents came from, was actually really interesting. There's a church, there's a lot of Christian sad story there because it's Shogun said no. There's a lot of interesting story around there. But this is a kind of complete hybrid between Chinese cuisine noodle and the Japanese, kitchen had just basically put anything, jumbo means mix up everything.
It's kind of the poor man's meal, wasn't it? It's all bits left over.
But it was delicious, so it's over 400 years, still ate. It's a delicacy over there. And then Castella, for example, it's Portuguese, actually, it's 400 years ago. Portuguese trade starts, and then Portuguese people brought this spongy thing, delicious, and then we didn't have butter. So instead, Japanese kind of sort of tweaked it, how to make it nicer. So we had wheat, egg, sugar, but sugar is from rice syrup. So rice syrup make it really gooey, this sponge, but so yummy. But its ingredients are only 3, sugar and egg and wheat, flour. And then still, 400 something years on, still selling as a top souvenir as a product. It's a hybrid again. Then when we researching these, I love Welsh stuff. And then when you Google it, research it, and it's again with geological reason. Is it 12th century? I can't remember.
Yeah, 12th century.
Yeah, probably all Welsh people know better this, but it's all geological reason because it's a water mill. So the mill needed the engine, which was a water mill.
Obviously, the wool was there.
Need to be turned.
So there's this fantastic romanticness of we'll bring all these elements together to make what we can, isn't it? And it's amazing. I think humans are fantastic. We can make these incredible things by our geology of where we are, and that's what we're trying to start with this. Because this project started because of the geology of where we are, and hopefully it'll go on to that. And it's like a really good selling thing, especially Eco and Gumba, if I said that correctly. Saying about that tourism, spreading tourism out, it's really so similar of how to build stories to sell to people, because that's what you've got to do. Not just tourists, but to the Welsh people, and it's selling these stories. And Japan somehow is abundant with it, and here is as well. But it's just like in Japan, it's just so much, isn't it?
Yeah, so much of it. So if you go to
everything, it's like an event, a festival for every day. There's something going on.
Yeah, if you leave 50 miles away from Tokyo, there's some sort of cuisine you can't eat in Tokyo. Then if you far away, every region has somehow character. Singing, festival, food, is really all to do with the regional geological offering. Bizarre. And then, a seaweed, I eat them, but you guys don't eat. And then it's so sad because lava. Seaweeds, it's delicious, we eat them.
It's the same seaweed that you use for sushi paper. It's the same, same stuff.
Sushi. And then that's from sewing, and then I collect them and make them in late March. Late March is best season to pick, and then it's so delicious. And then so these things again, region, local offering, isn't it? The nature offers us to do stuff. Then this making little crafts, we started in 2017. Daroni Cutatus allowed make us this space to set marquee, and me and John did this crafts crafts workshop.
Yeah.
And then one side is wood, one side is metal. And then, so we...
Yeah, a little area to sell, so everyone's helping, they could sell their produce in there as well, so we're trying to support the local makers.
Yeah, so we did it 3 times, and then kind of obviously in 2019 was the last one. We wanted to do it 2020, but COVID stopped us. So that's local makers, we helped, and there was more people behind this actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did that in post-touring.
It's very similar to what we're trying to sort of do here, isn't it? It's just a sort of broader, bigger scale, isn't it?
Yes, so hoping lots of artists come and then chip the idea, basically chip into the idea.
So this is that beginning of artists like all of you here and people watching to come together to form ideas for this Coed Coexist, and then hopefully in 2026 it will develop into an actual work that we'll have here. It doesn't actually have to be out of the beech tree. This is why we're talking about soil and we're talking about stories, so it can be anything, but we want it to be related to this very local area and we see what grows from it. And hopefully, as I mentioned, it will keep growing, hopefully to Japan, or it will, it can grow in every direction. But it'll be very exciting. Hopefully that can happen.
Yeah. So very quickly, as John said, John makes charcoal. I made that device, and this amazing film called The Need to Grow.
Yeah, an American chap who made this loop of energy where they made charcoal, which let off CO2, and then plankton ate the CO2, and then let off methane, which fed the fire, and then the byproduct of it was electricity, which is a very handy byproduct, and it made incredible compost. So you add the plankton to the charcoal, and that made incredible compost for plants to grow. Which then after watching that, we're trying to recreate that ourselves. Not the electricity.
This is our house. John's obsession is compost.
Well, soil.
Huge compost area in outside. And then this is an this is real. Like as soon as I got polytunnel last 10 years, and then as soon as I start using John Egan's special compost, and just a stupid vegetable, we start growing big and tasty.
But it didn't just grow big and disgusting.
It's actually
it stayed
really
tasty. And it
tasty.
stayed. Even it had more nutrients in it, Yeah.
It's just simple. The soil is everything, basically. And then my friend lives in Porto, and then this is an annual September acorn picking. We grow oak tree. It's quite easy actually to do. Just to try to plant it oak tree more. So then back to this. This is going in with you. This garden. This morning we walked, and this beautiful huge tree fell. We have to be quick. So we kind of sort of processed, we decided to, we sent the proposal this April. Green, thank you. It's been so fast to come to this far. And thank you, Echo, to sponsor this. But this is just my beginning. Basically, we are calling for artists and poet, musician, chef, anything could be. So we're aiming 2026, we need more fund for this to commission artists and maybe making new noodle. You never know, like a mushroom, seaweed flavoured noodle.
That's that's the symbol of the Coexist. It's like everyone coming together from whatever walk of life, making craft is the.
So David, Nash, Peter, thank you for filming today. Culture Colony, they've been documenting artistic practice over years, and then Peter offered to film today and live streaming today. Thank you. And then Peter had a long friendship with David Nash, which is iconic, legendary artist, woodworker, lives for New, and he learned us to use his film and said take just enough and give back more. And just as artists, we should do the same, basically. That's it.
This is the beginning of Coed, Coexist, and it started well. Are you happy?
Yes, very happy, We've got just so many thanks, isn't it, to say to everyone turning up, but also Gwyn and the whole staff, and Alex, and everybody, just working so hard. I can't believe this has happened, really. It's been a bit of a quick affair, really. God bless them. Everyone's just worked really hard. It's just it's a really positive start to answer your question.
So this is the start. What's the next step?
We kind of been thinking.
Hello.
So when we proposed this idea was back in April. This idea was sitting in our dinner table since 7 years ago. And then Alex and Gwyn got idea, let's do the symposium first. So that wasn't our idea, this is actually. And then, so this is a three-phase project, and so first is symposium, so everybody here, we targeted you, because every one of you is supposed to have this spider net for yourself, so hopefully you have a word, spread the word with your own community. Then what we want you to do today is basically attract any new idea, like any idea, basically. It's not have to be earthy, could be any business, any literature, poem or music, chef, anything, and to get some idea to do with Coed, basically, a tree. Then we welcome any proposal. We try to sort of probably bridge some commission work or something, then aiming to have 2026, is it right? Sorry, 2026, hopefully in autumn or before, I can't remember.
Early summer,
This before this amazing summer show, hopefully, right. to have some events and exhibition to show outcome, also probably continuous after that. So third phase is probably bridge some sort of one of the dream is bring some this Japanese artisan or something, could be Spanish, we have no clue, because classically we do here, you build a new artist residence studio,
yes.
Something like that.
Artist residence.
Yeah, so we want the cultural development in the future, and if we could continue this 2026 idea to go even more further, to deepen the roots, like a mycelium tree around the tree. It's basically spider net of a cultural deep depth. It's not like calling loads of tourism or anything like that, actually, but all about community here to make deep and interesting new idea and artwork and even music. Like a blanket and noodle, there was a point of start. Why not to create a new start? Like to carry on 300 years later. Oh, that's quite Coexist. That they started this new bits of new crafts. That origin maybe could be now, today, would be my dream, our dream.
So please, all your amazing minds here, it's just let's keep this going, as you said. And even immediately, there's a little tree on the wall there, you can write comments or ideas and stick them, there's leaves that you write on, you stick them on the tree, so fill that tree up with sort of nice comments, hopefully, and good ideas. And then we can collect them, and obviously we've got your details as well, so we will contact you, hopefully. And as Junko said, spread the word further than this room, and then we can grow these traditions. I think that's the word, isn't it? We can start these traditions that don't exist, or we can rekindle the traditions that do exist. And then the theme is such a special place, and I think we just want to grow and celebrate that, I think. Yeah.
John, have you mentioned the beech tree as well?
Oh yes.
Oh, the beech tree. Yeah, I've got about 7 tons of beech tree that we've moved. So obviously woodworkers, the material is there, and anything that you can think of related to this. So obviously, as an exhibition, it'd be a physical exhibition. So it'd be nice to have some woodwork in there, wouldn't it? But it can be anything like, smoking it to make bacon, or we don't know. It's up to us as a collective to make this exciting show and beyond, basically. So Junko out for everything, and it's been an amazing day. Thank you very much.
And also the things this is an example. This piece of beech is that we collected, and our house is total mess. We got a whole pyramid of this. And then so we kept for all of these maker artists, anyone want to come and collect, please come and help yourself and then make something out of it for 2026, it would be great. And then it could be charcoal, why not? And then could be make pigment out of it, or directly scan the sort of surface, and then even scientific research, it would be amazing, to be honest. And
also woodworkers here as well, if you actually want to work, it's green at the moment, So I'm going to plank it hopefully before.
Quick.
Going to plank it before winter, because beach is not very good left outside. So literally contact me if you want some wood and what size as well, because I'm going to plank it, but try and be synthetic to the bits that I've got as well. Yeah.
So what's the best point of contact for both of you with Coexist then? Where's the...
Probably Instagram, direct mail.
And is it going to be you two who are...
Yes, I mean the gallery as well.
And
contact.
With glass as well.
Yeah, plus
Okay.
as well. Yeah.
So Alex, maybe. Poor Alex. Diolch, Alex.
But as you say, welcome to contact through Instagram and yeah.
As well.
So rhywun eisiau gofyn rhywbeth I John a Junko? Any questions for John and Junko? Oes. Manon.
Ah, sorry, the microphone. I've just left it on there. Yeah.
Where?
Does that mean?
Ben, that's
Just
just
a
box.
Oh, you got one? Oh, you can do it.
Yeah, thank you both, first of all, for the invitation to be part of it today. And I'm just wondering, between now and 2026, the period of the exhibition, will there be an opportunity for everyone to come together again, or to bring more people along, or some kind of get together and meet up in between, or how do you imagine kind of keeping the dynamic going?
That's
I
good.
think
Good
Goini
question.
is nodding, so
Yeah.
it is a yes.
I think that's the feeling I'm getting. We must get together again and meet. Maybe we can't afford so much food next time.
You said another
Bring your own food.
barbecue on the beach.
Maybe a glass of wine.
Yeah, barbecue on the beach with some charcoal. You can make some food.
Not only in the like beaches, we have to.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
But no, definitely, Manon, we'll have to do this. I think more than once again, and as you say, bring other great people together as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about merging out of nature and getting these wonderful people together. And
That's a
we
good.
must remember there's 80 people at least online watching us as well.
Oh right, yeah.
Ia, diolch. Os ydych chi'n wylio ar y we, if you're watching online, diolch yn fawr iawn a gobeithio bod chi'n mwynhau. A sori de, ond ydych chi'n methu'r bwyd. And just saying thank you, the food was excellent. Diolch yn fawr iawn for feeding us.
So I think we need more feedback. Please leave feedback and your contact details, and we'll do a few events, maybe in the evenings or when it's convenient for people.
And Junko, quickly, how do I say diolch yn fawr in Japanese?
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Arigato.
Gozaimashita.
Gozaimashita.
Ah, that's a bit long. But if I say, yeah, I've learned this bit, actually, I'm cheating. Arigato.
Do itashimashite. Croeso.
Diolch o galon i'r, wel, sut yn un egluro ac yn disgrifio y ddau yma. Ffantastig. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Mae cael nabod chi yn rhywbeth arbennig iawn ac yn brant. Diolch. Diolch. A diolch i chi i gyd am ddod a cofiwch yn llun. Tan tro nesaf.
You must be in the middle of the picture.
Oh my god. Oh yeah.